The Messiah said, "Think not that I'm come to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I have not come to destroy. I've come to fulfill, or to make your understanding full." Now, to some leaders and some instructors, this word fulfill has a tone of finality to it. But when you go and you punch in your card, you go to your job and punch in your card, you don't walk out of the building. When you go in and you punch your card, you fulfill your duties as an employer. If I have children and a wife, and I buy a house and raise the children up in the house, I just don't have a bunch of babies, buy a house and then leave. No, I stay and I fulfill my duty as a parent. What he was fulfilling was his duty as the Mashiach, or the Messiah, to explain and to show through action how this Torah is supposed to be carried out, how the instructions given by the one true God of the universe is supposed to be carried out. Because at that time, the Pharisees and the scribes have written in their own laws, their own instructions, their own rituals, their own way of carrying things out, their own elitism, their own political system also, which kept the people in bondage. In bondage. This is the law. This is the law that Paul says we're no longer under. Not the law that's been mistranslated as Torah, and Torah being mistranslated as law. He talks about what was written into the Torah that was given to Israel as a nation. He came to free us from those external instructions that were penned by the scribes and the Pharisees that burdened the people, and they weren't willing to do it themselves, but apply a multitude of rabbinic filters on how to read the Torah, when the Messiah himself said, "The way is so plain, a fool need not err." This is why he stayed in the Pharisees' face all the time, telling them, why do you make the commandment void through all your traditions, through all your add-ons? And every chance he got, he ridiculed them by doing the things that they prohibited, which was not a prohibition at all. We have ministers, we have instructors, we have leaders who want to tell you how to worship, how God is, when they don't recognize him themselves, when they don't know who God is themselves. They go to seminaries, they go to schools of divinity, they teach you 1 week of Hebrew and 5 years of Greek, when the scriptures themselves, all the scriptures, were written in Hebrew. But through the different occupations and the different influences of the pagans and the nations around them that brought in their own gods, their own pantheons, their own ideas, these became melded or mixed with the worship of the one true and living God. So now we have all of these practices borrowed from different cultures, and we're going to apply them to the original ways that were given to worship God. Things that are borrowed from one culture, this culture, that culture, and nobody knows where it comes from. It's just being accepted. Nobody searches for him. But he himself says he's a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. How can the ministers and pastors and teachers and instructors tell you about a God that they don't even know? But there is a way to know. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. There's no shame in saying that I don't know a thing. If you tell him you don't know, he will tell you. He will tell you. But if you don't know, don't stand up and act like you do. Because he who exalts himself shall be abased, shall be lowered. But he who humbles himself shall be exalted. They're quick to tell you that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. But if he is the same yesterday, today, and forever, then why don't we worship him like he's the same yesterday, today, and forever? Satan has an agenda that runs parallel to what's already been given in the Bible. It runs parallel. If you don't know the true and living way, you'll worship him and not even know it. Not even know it. Things have been changed and been perpetrated by all these different instructors and teachers and pastors. They can't tell you where it came from. They can't tell you where it came from. The Master said, the Messiah, Yahushua said, till heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or one tittle, that means one stroke, one of the tiniest characters in the Hebrew alphabet, will change. Till heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or one tittle will be changed, till all is fulfilled. The gathering in of the nations is part of all being fulfilled. Even Jacob's trouble is part of all being fulfilled. His coming back is part of all being fulfilled. The heavens and earth are still with us. So why are these changes made? Why are these words being perverted? He said, I think not that I'm come to change anything. But the ministers and pastors, they'll tell you that, oh, you don't have to worship him like they worship him in the ancient days. You don't have to keep the Sabbath anymore. The Sabbath has changed to Sunday. Where in the world is that? Can you show me this? Can you show me this? What they'll do is twist what had happened between the time that he walked the earth and the time that he was crucified, and they will apply that day to the first day of the week because of the day that he rose. But if they knew anything, if they just stood still long enough and knew anything about what God had given already, they would know that during the season of Passover, on the morrow after the weekly Sabbath, and in the week of the start of unleavened bread, in that week, the weekly Sabbath, the day after that Sabbath was called the Feast of First Fruits. The Feast of First Fruits. And we also read in the Brit Hadashah, unmistakably, we read, he's the first fruit of those who sleep. So what happened? What happened? Did he fulfill the Feast of First Fruits? Him being planted in the heart of the earth like a fruit, like something that springs from the ground? Because indeed he used that parable. A stalk of wheat or a grain of wheat, or in many translations it still talks about planting. Unless the plant or the wheat or the grain is put into the earth and dies or germinates, it's just a stalk of wheat. But if it's put in the earth and it dies, many will be born in its name. Many will be born. Many will be rejuvenated. Simple examples. He gave us basic examples to follow. Things that could easily be understood by us. God is not trying to hide himself. Yahushua, the Messiah, is not trying to hide himself from us. He's not so oblivious to our plight that we need him to be explained to us by another man who can give us his opinion and not show us or not prove to us